All right, everybody. Welcome back to the Steelers Breakdown Podcast. Nick Farabaugh here with you guys. And today, I want to do something that I really enjoy before OTAs and minicamp every single year. I try and do this as much as I can and try and break down the guys that are maybe lower down on the roster that maybe you don't know yet, aren't household names that could become, the camp darlings of the year. And I want to break those guys down and tell you guys I'm looking at that could potentially be those players this year. So OTAs is really the first opportunity we have as reporters to watch 11 on 11, 7 on 7, even if it's not in pads, you can start to see some things for yourself and try and kind of peg who's going to be the buzzy names this summer. So let me give you, and let's talk about five guys this today that I kind of think next week and into mini camp and then into training camp could pick up some significant buzz here as guys that can make the Steelers roster that you're maybe not thinking of right now, because I think that there are options here that people maybe aren't talking about enough. The first guy we're talking about is someone we talked about in the UDFA video, DJ Thomas Jones, South Alabama, tight end, fullback hybrid type of player. Can play the wing, can play inline tight end, can play fullback, can play H-back. He can play a bunch of different roles. First team all violence is this guy's nickname. They gave it to him at South Alabama after he got honorable mention all team conference, but his team has thought that his contributions in the blocking game did not go fully appreciated just by that. And that is really when you turn on the tape. He does the things people don't want to do, dirty work assignments. The inline blocking, this guy revels it. He is a mean player. He's a high character player. His journey is one of real courage, real. It's overcoming it's overcoming, it's perseverance, it's all of that. He had to transfer from Ole Miss back to home to Mobile, Alabama, and play at South Alabama because his mother was sick. He would have been playing at Ole Miss. He started to as a redshirt freshman and was slated to take a bigger leap as a redshirt sophomore, but couldn't because his mother had health issues. He went back to help her. In addition to playing football, in addition to having a job, in addition to doing all these things, great young man, great character, and the football tape is there. He's versatile. He fits this offense really well. They gave him $30,000 in guaranteed money, and this is a guy that can absolutely just bulldoze guys in front of him. So as a blocker, I'm really excited to see him. I'm really excited to see him when they get to team run in training camp. But I really just want to see how they use him versatility wise, alignment wise, at OTAs and minicamp. That's where I'm really excited. So this is a guy that maybe people aren't talking about enough, but he's got a shot to make this roster. I have no doubt about it. This is a guy that people aren't talking about enough that could absolutely make a sleeper roster push for the Steelers. Also, UDFA crop number two, because there's another guy I want to talk about. His name is Sebastian Castro. This is a guy that's gotten more buzz, I think, than any other undrafted free agent, I would say. And we are talking about him because we are talking about a guy that really comes out as a football player. Like, that's what I look at when I think of Sebastian Castro. This guy's just a good old football player. He is a really good tackler. He's not a great athlete. The numbers aren't elite. He only ran a 4.59 at the combine. His agilities weren't that great. He's not super explosive. So that's going to be his limiting factor. He's not a great athlete. He's going to be a 25-year-old rookie. The age is also something to look at. But we're talking about a guy with high football IQ, with ball hawking skills. We're talking about a guy that can play strong safety, free safety, or the slot. He can man up in the slot, specifically against tight ends. So you're thinking about guys like Njoku, likely Andrews, like Gesicki, like those types of guys. This is the type of player you'd want on them. He's a physical player that can be a blitzer downhill. He can give you safety depth. He can be a special teamer. He's the right kind of profile for an undrafted free agent to make a roster push. And people aren't talking about it enough because he's a really solid player in just the fundamental ways. He does the routine things routinely. I think that's the thing, when we talk about undrafted guys making the roster. A lot of it is making plays what you're supposed to do. Yes, you need to splash, you need to stick out, but a lot of it is just making the plays that are there to be made. And I think a lot of people kind of overlook that. And this guy's a fundamental football player that should be able to do that. So again, they have a needed slot even with Beanie Bishop. They're going to need a backup slot corner. Not a lot of experience otherwise. This feels like a guy that should make the team. It really does. I really think he's got a good shot to make the team. So a big fan of what he brings to the table. And just overall, I really like Sebastian Castro's game. So that's a guy that I think people aren't talking about enough. And so another guy that I really think has kind of flown a little under the radar. He's been around for a while, but he's finally healthy. I think he has a chance here to maybe make a push at tackle and interior offensive line. Dylan Cook. Dylan Cook's been around now. This will be his third year with the team. Last year, wasn't it got kind of wiped out from a foot injury that he suffered during the joint practice with the Bills. He had a Liz Frank injury, didn't return until mid-year, and after that, he was on the practice squad for the rest of the year. But we're talking about a guy that was a former quarterback. He's 6'6", 305, super athletic, very smart player. Could play both right or left tackle, could play both guard spots. He's versatile in that way. We're talking about a guy that, before he got hurt, looked really good. He was going to make this team before he got hurt. He made the team before the year before, where he kind of forced his way onto it. The limited tape we have on this guy, really solid. I think with this tackle room, it's just not deep, right? Calvin Anderson is kind of guaranteed, to be quite honest with you. The swing tackle role, 2-year deal he's on. He had a good game against the Ravens the last time he played for the Steelers in that playoff game. But Cook has kind of flown under the radar. No one's talking about him. No one's factoring him into this. I think he should. Dylan Cook is an interesting player. Got to work a little bit on the technique. He's raw. He's still very new to the position. I think it's only his third or fourth year, fourth or fifth year, I think, actually, playing the position, period. He didn't even play a lot there in college. He eventually did switch over. But this is the type of player people really aren't talking about enough. Because a guy that can just make plays and be a really solid fundamental player. I think that's what you look for. So I'm a big Dylan Cook fan. I would hope that he kind of puts some things on the map there, and I think he will because I just think people weren't talking about him enough. So really solid player there to watch, and someone that I think has a real shot to make a push at the roster kind of out of nowhere. The other guy I really wanted to talk about on the defensive side of the football, because we had already talked about Castro, and him being kind of the sleeper of that safety slot room. This defensive line room, guys, it's kind of it's fairly deep. But I do want to bring up one name specifically that I just don't think people are talking about enough, and it's Daniel Wali. And that's probably a weird name to throw out here in terms of sleepers because he was a signed veteran. He started 16 games last year for the Patriots, but I just have not heard anything about it. Some people have not even putting him on their 53-man roster projections. You watched the tape last year. I mean, he was a hoss in the run game. He's not going to give you a ton of pass rush juice, and I don't think that's something you're looking for from him. You're looking for a really good kind of four eye that can slant into nose when you need to. He can play up and down the line. And you're looking at that as kind of the real reason you brought him on. This is a guy that can really, really be an anchor, to be quite honest with you, on your line against the run. That's what he is. He's a big body that can absorb double teams, that can take on gap teams, that can really snuff that out. Teams like the Ravens, this is the type of guy you wanted. He's a lock to make the roster, I think, but I don't think people have given him enough due credit. He's going to have a good summer. He's a solid fundamental player. He's been in the league now, I think it's 8 or 9 years he's been in the league, so he's been in there for a while. Um, he's kind of a sleeper just because I don't think people are talking about him enough. He's not a flash. He's not a sexy player. He does just a lot of the fundamental, dirty, pale things that a lot of people don't want to do. This guy, though, is going to play a lot of football, I think, this year, and is going to have a really good summer. And when you hear me saying Daniel Ekewale throughout the summer and the spring, I want you to know why I'm saying his name, because I think Ekewale actually has a really good shot here to make a roster push. And so that's someone to always keep an eye on. I think you should keep an eye on him. And the last one, we're going to go back to the UDFA crop here. Rock Taylor out of Memphis. Rock Taylor, man, really fun player. Steelers officially list him at 6'1", 213. He's just a hair under 6'2", 6'1" and 7/8. He's 213 at the combine. He weighed 219, so it was 220. So this guy is built like a running back. It's kind of interesting. He's got that squatty build. He's got that Debo Samuelish build, that really well built lower half. And you can see him kind of filling that role, that X wide receiver down the field, um, vertical threat, contested catch guy. It's kind of what he is. He really is a X receiver only, I think. Press coverage, we'll see. That could be a bit of an issue, but high character player, has the right mentality, just ferocious when the ball's in the air. He goes in high points that he has an alpha dog mentality to go get that football by any means necessary. I love that about Rock Taylor. And so Taylor to me is the type of player that really comes out and has an opportunity after the George Pickens trade. Now, we'll see if they add somebody, but this is the type of guy where you look at who has more snaps now that can make plays with Pickens gone. This is the type of player that could step up and take that opportunity. And Taylor is the archetype you would want as that backup X. They don't have a true backup X. If DK went down, who would be the backup X? So he might be running second team on some of these reps. And that's a real opportunity for Rock Taylor to showcase what he could do. So he's the type of player I think you need to look out for as well. They gave him $30,000 in signing bonus, so they clearly like Rock Taylor to a degree. Steelers handed out signing bonus a little more liberally this year, trying to kind of get better players in the UDFA pool. It's a solid group. And we have named three of them from here with Castro, Thomas Jones, and now Taylor. Those three are three to watch. And then I think Cook and Wali, two others that aren't getting a lot of buzz, but should be getting more. So those are the guys I really wanted to shout out. I wanted to talk a little bit of sleepers today, just because I'm a big sleeper guy. I always like to watch the lower roster guys. There are some others. If you want to have any questions about those guys, feel free to put it down in the comment section. I will try and answer any questions you have about sleepers, but I wanted to name five sleepers that people might not be talking about enough. That right now ahead of OTAs. We'll see you next week when OTAs kicks off on Tuesday. Folks, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn on the notification bell for more. Thanks for watching, everybody.